Look around. What do you see? Be honest. Most people see only what's in front of them: bills, stress, setbacks, distractions, and noise. But the winners? They see something different. They see beyond the clutter. They see what's coming. They see what can be. They've trained themselves not to just look, but to see. You don't get to the top by reacting, you get there by seeing it before it exists, seeing it when nobody else does. Every breakthrough, every revolution, every impossible victory started in someone's mind long before the world recognized it. And if you're waiting for the world to give you permission to believe in your vision, you'll die waiting. The world doesn't reward the blind, it rewards the visionary. Understand this: your eyes will lie to you. They'll show you failure, lack, limits, and all the reasons why you should give up. But the vision in your mind, your inner eye, that's where power lives. That's where future is created. The average person gets distracted by appearances. The successful person decides what they want to see and keeps their focus there until it becomes reality. Confusion is the enemy of action. When you don't know what you want, life will toss you around. But when your vision is sharp, your moves are calculated, you stop guessing, you start building. When your vision is clear, your energy becomes magnetic. You no longer chase. Opportunities come to you because people are drawn to those who know where they're going. Let me make this simple. Your outer world will never rise higher than your inner vision. If you want more, you must see more. If you want to change your life, change your sight. Don't wait for evidence, be the evidence. If you're broke, see yourself wealthy. If you're weak, see yourself strong. If you're stuck, see yourself free. That's how transformation begins. Don't tell me about your circumstances, everyone's got them. I don't care where you're from, who doubted you, or what mistakes you made. The only thing that matters now is whether you have the guts to see something greater, even when everything around you says you can't. Vision isn't about luck, it's about choice. It's the discipline to hold the image of your future so tightly that nothing, no opinion, no failure, no fear, can take it away. You don't need sight to lead. You need vision. You don't need approval, you need clarity. The minute you decide that your dream is non-negotiable, your brain stops hesitating, your heart starts burning, your habits align, you stop living for the weekend and start building the legacy. Guard your vision like your life depends on it, because it does. Most people lose because they let someone else blur their focus. Critics, jealous friends, negative family members, mediocre environments. If someone isn't feeding your vision, they're starving it. If a place doesn't grow you, it blinds you. Protect your vision from small talk, small thinking, and small expectations. Let me tell you something that most people will never admit. It's not talent that separates the top 1%. It's sight. It's the ability to hold a vision so long that the world has no choice but to make room for it. They were laughed at. They were rejected. But they saw it. They felt it. And they wouldn't let it go. Now it's your turn. What do you see? Not what do you want. What do you see? Because you will never go higher than the picture in your mind. If your vision is weak, your actions will be weak. But if your vision is unstoppable, you'll become unstoppable. Period. Don't just exist. See. Don't just wish. Visualize. Don't just react. Create. Most people are blind to their own power because they never stop to look inward. They never take the time to design their life. And the few who do, they change the game forever. So I'm not here to motivate you with fluff. I'm here to remind you of what you already know deep down. You've got more in you than you've shown. But you'll never access it until you learn to see. To see the mission. To see the version of you who refuses to settle. To see the mountain and climb it anyway. And when they tell you it's impossible, smile. Because that means they haven't seen what you've seen. The future doesn't belong to the loudest. It belongs to the clearest. Learn to see. Vision precedes achievement. Every triumph, every revolution, every empire that ever rose began not with action, but with sight. Not physical sight, but internal vision. A vision so vivid, so sharp it cut through doubt, through fear, through failure. Long before anyone else believed, long before the results showed up, someone saw it. In their mind, it was already done. The world hadn't caught up yet, but the vision was real. That's where it always starts. You don't climb by chance. You climb because you saw the top when no one else even looked up. Most people walk around blind, not because they lack eyes, but because they lack vision. They react to what they see instead of choosing what to see. They see obstacles, they see critics, they see reasons to stop. But those who win, they train themselves to see through. They see purpose in pain. They see fuel in failure. They see progress in every storm. While the masses focus on the chaos around them, the few, the determined, stay focused on what they see within. The blueprint in their mind is stronger than the noise outside. You cannot build what you cannot see. The reason most people live average lives is not because they lack intelligence or drive. It's because they never made the decision to see clearly. They never picked a target and locked in. Their vision was soft, blurry, flexible, and what's flexible gets bent, broken, and forgotten. If you want to rise, your vision must be sharper than your excuses, louder than your distractions, and stronger than your fears. Your vision must dominate your thinking every day. Every decision, every move must bow to that image in your mind. Vision is a filter. It tells you what to ignore and what to chase. Without it, you fall for everything. You jump from goal to goal, habit to habit, always starting but never finishing. You wonder why nothing sticks. It's because you haven't learned to see it clearly, to see it completely, to see it until it becomes a part of you. A real vision doesn't fade. It doesn't get tired. It drives you when motivation fails. It pushes you when others quit. It speaks to you when the world is silent. That's the difference between winners and wanderers. One sees it, the other just wishes. What you see determines how you move. If you only see problems, you'll stay stuck. But if you see potential, you'll keep climbing. If you see limits, you'll hold back. But if you see legacy, you'll go all in. Vision doesn't just inspire, it instructs. It tells your body how to behave, your mind how to focus, your spirit how to endure. It becomes the compass that keeps you locked in, no matter what breaks around you. Even when you're surrounded by failure, vision whispers, keep going. Even when you've lost before, vision reminds you it's not over. Even when they laugh, vision replies, just wait. You can't fake real vision. It shows in how you talk. It shows in how you walk. It shows in the silence when nobody's watching and you're still grinding. People think you're crazy because they don't see it yet. Let them talk. Their vision is weak, yours isn't. You didn't come this far to match their pace. You came to set the tone. Let the doubters laugh. You'll be too focused to hear them. You'll be too locked in to respond. You'll be too busy building what they said could never exist. That's what vision does. It puts you on a mission so big you forget how to stop. Most people wait to believe until they see the results. But that's not how greatness works. You believe first, you see first, and then the world catches up. That's the formula. That's the law. Your current situation might be small. Your bank account might be low. Your circle might be empty. So what? If the vision is clear, the rest is temporary. What you see inside is more real than what you're walking through right now. Don't let your environment define your energy. Let your vision build your reality. Protect it, guard it, feed it daily. Read, think, write, build. Don't let weak minds pull you into their fog. Don't let circumstances shrink your sight. Don't let failure blind you. When you fall, close your eyes and remember what you saw. When you lose, remind yourself why you started. When they doubt, keep building. The world doesn't need another critic. It needs more visionaries. It needs more people willing to stare into the dark and declare light anyway. This isn't about hype. It's about discipline. The discipline to see your destination, even when the road disappears. The discipline to stare at your dream and say, I don't care how long it takes, I will get there. The discipline to choose vision over comfort, focus over distraction, purpose over popularity. You don't need 1 million people to believe. You need one, you. If you believe deeply enough, the rest will follow. Because what you truly see, you will eventually hold. Everything changes when you learn to see. Not with your eyes, but with your will, your fire, your faith. The greatest power you'll ever hold is not in your hands, it's in your vision. Learn to see, and never let it go. Eyesight is not vision. Eyesight sees the surface. Vision sees the truth. Eyesight sees the problem. Vision sees the possibility. Most people think they're seeing, but they're only observing. They see bills, stress, traffic, noise, opinions, failures, but they don't see purpose. They don't see mission. They don't see destiny. That's why they stay stuck. Not because they lack potential, but because they never develop the ability to look beyond what is and into what could be. If you rely on eyesight, you'll quit early. You'll doubt yourself. You'll fold under pressure. Because eyesight tells you the facts. Vision tells you the future. Eyesight tells you where you are. Vision tells you where you're going. When your eyes see chaos but your vision sees greatness, that's when power kicks in. That's when resilience is born, not from your environment, but from the picture you hold in your mind. You can be in the middle of a storm and still walk like you own the outcome, because vision refuses to surrender to temporary reality. Vision doesn't blink when life hits hard. It stands firm, it sharpens, it commands your steps, even when nothing around you makes sense. That's how leaders rise. That's how legacies are built. Your life follows your dominant picture. Whatever you hold in your mind with intensity becomes your direction. If you keep staring at your problems, they'll multiply. If you keep staring at your limits, they'll grow roots. But if you dare to hold a vision that's bigger than your fear, you'll rise, you'll break patterns, you'll challenge fate. You weren't born to react to the world. You were born to shape it. But that only happens when you stop using your eyes and start using your inner vision. Vision doesn't care where you came from. It only cares where you're determined to go. The mistake people make is trusting eyesight too much. They let it dictate effort. They let it control energy. They look around and say, it's not working, instead of looking within and declaring, it's already mine. Vision speaks in advance. It speaks before the results. It's not interested in proof. It is the proof. You must decide to walk like it's done, talk like it's done, train like it's done, move like it's done. Because vision demands that kind of belief. Not casual, not part-time, not wishful, relentless, focused, unshakable belief. If you can't see it in your mind, don't expect to hold it in your hand. Eyesight might show you opposition, but vision shows you opportunity. Eyesight might show you rejection, but vision shows you resilience. Eyesight says stop. Vision says grow. That's why two people can be in the same room and have two completely different futures. One is trapped by what they see. The other is freed by what they believe. Your environment doesn't own your outcome, your vision does. The streets you walk don't define your future. The image in your mind does. Your family history doesn't predict your destiny. The fire in your spirit does. And that fire is only lit when your vision is alive. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for signs. Stop waiting for the world to understand. They won't. Not until it's built. Not until it's done. Visionaries always look crazy at the start. You're not supposed to blend in. You're supposed to break through. People with eyesight chase comfort. People with vision chase purpose. Eyesight tells you to settle. Vision tells you to soar. The only question is, which voice are you listening to? The moment you shift from the outside world to your inner world, you tap into a force stronger than fear, faster than doubt, louder than failure. You don't need everyone to get it. You don't need applause. You don't need confirmation. You need clarity. Once your vision becomes clear, your steps become bold. Your time becomes precious. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for distractions drops to zero. You stop entertaining excuses, gossip, and mediocrity. You move with intention. Because now you're not walking blindly. You've seen something others haven't. You've seen what's possible. You've seen what's waiting. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You either move toward it or live with the pain of not becoming what you were shown. Vision separates the average from the elite. It's not genetics. It's not luck. It's clarity. Those who build empires, those who change industries, those who redefine limits, they didn't wait for the path to be clear. They created the path with their vision. When the world showed them closed doors, they imagined new ones. When critics laughed, they saw future headlines. When friends quit, they stayed locked in. Because vision doesn't depend on consensus. It doesn't shrink under pressure. It gets louder. It becomes your obsession. It becomes your compass. Every action you take starts aligning because now you're not drifting, you're aiming. If your life feels random, it's because your vision isn't driving it. If your energy feels low, it's because your vision isn't pulling it. Energy follows vision. Discipline follows vision. Results follow vision. Eyesight doesn't build empires. Vision does. Eyesight doesn't create innovation. Vision does. Eyesight doesn't write history. Vision does. The world changes every time one person decides to stop trusting what they see and starts acting on what they know they can create. You can be that person, but it starts when you stop using your eyes and start leading with your vision. Learn to see, really see. Clarity destroys confusion. It cuts through hesitation like a blade. It silences noise. It wipes out the fog that keeps most people spinning their wheels, wasting years, chasing everything and catching nothing. Clarity doesn't whisper, it commands. It doesn't ask permission, it takes control. The minute you become clear on what you want, who you are, and where you're going, the game changes. Confusion dies the moment you decide. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they're unclear. They spend their lives stuck in indecision, waiting, questioning, doubting, second-guessing every move while time keeps ticking. You can't hit a target you can't see. And if your vision is clouded, so are your actions. If your goals are vague, your results will be too. Clarity creates speed. It brings power. You move differently when you know exactly what you're after. You walk like you own the outcome. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't matter. You stop entertaining thoughts that don't serve you. Confusion is a trap. It keeps you distracted. It keeps you weak. But clarity, real clarity, makes you unstoppable. It shuts the door on everything that doesn't belong in your future. It forces you to focus. People love to say they're overwhelmed, like it's something to be proud of. They confuse being busy with being purposeful. But movement without direction is just noise. Progress without clarity is an illusion. You can work hard every day and still end up nowhere if you're not clear. You can grind for years and still be stuck in the same place if you don't know what you're really building. Clarity demands that you stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending you don't know what you want. Stop blaming distractions when the real problem is indecision. Make the decision. Get clear. Once you're clear, your environment starts to shift. The right people show up, the wrong ones fade, the right opportunities appear, the right habits stick. Not because the world changed, but because your focus did. When your mind is locked in, your energy follows. When your goals are specific, your discipline tightens. You wake up with direction. You move with purpose. You become harder to knock off course. Clarity doesn't just make you efficient, it makes you dangerous. It makes you unpredictable to those still wandering. It makes you a threat to every excuse, every doubt, every fear that once slowed you down. You'll know you're clear when hesitation dies, when you don't need 10 opinions before acting, when you don't shrink every time someone questions your path. You'll know you're clear when you stop chasing applause and start chasing execution. When you stop reacting to life and start designing it. When your vision is sharper than your distractions, your mission becomes your lifestyle. Most people never get there because they're afraid to choose, afraid of being wrong, afraid of missing out. But the truth is, the only thing worse than the wrong decision is no decision. Confusion robs you of power. Clarity gives it back. There's a reason elite performers are calm in chaos. It's not because life is easier for them. It's because they're clear. Clear on their standards, clear on their values, clear on what matters and what doesn't. That's why they don't flinch when pressure rises. That's why they don't fold under doubt. They're not guessing, they're executing. They're not looking for direction. They've already decided. Clarity frees you from the opinions of others. It eliminates the need to explain yourself. When you're clear, validation becomes irrelevant. You're no longer fueled by likes, comments, or praise. You're moved by purpose. Clarity is a decision. It's not given. You earn it by digging deep, cutting through the noise, and deciding what matters. You don't wait for clarity. You create it. You sit with your thoughts. You face the truth. You define your values. You write the vision. You declare the mission. And then you move. Fast, with urgency, with focus, because you're done wasting time. You're done playing small. You're done pretending you don't know who you are. The world may try to blur your vision, but clarity doesn't come from the world, it comes from you. From the fire inside that refuses to settle. When you get clear, average no longer satisfies. Comfort becomes the enemy. Silence becomes powerful. You start walking away from things that once entertained you because now your standards are different. Now your time is precious. Now your thoughts are focused. And every second spent in confusion feels like betrayal. You can feel the gap between who you've been and who you're becoming. Clarity shows you that gap and dares you to close it. And if you've got the courage to walk through the discomfort, you'll discover strength that was buried under years of hesitation and doubt. People will wonder what changed, why you're quieter, why you're more intense, why you're cutting things off. Let them wonder. They weren't meant to see your vision. They weren't built to understand your clarity. This isn't their race. This isn't their dream. This is your path, your mission. And now that you're clear, you won't be moved. You won't be slowed. You won't be shaken by their confusion. You're building something real, something powerful, something permanent. And clarity is the force that drives every brick you lay, every move you make, every step you take toward the life that's already yours in your mind. Circumstances are illusions. They are not walls. They are mirrors showing you what you believe, not what is true. They scream limitations, but they're only reflections of old thoughts, old fears, old stories. Circumstances convince the weak to settle, but to the strong, they're nothing but a starting point. Too many people wait for life to be perfect before they act. They wait for the job, the money, the support, the right time. But there is no right time. There is only now. If you let circumstances dictate your decisions, you'll live like a slave to things you were meant to conquer. What you see around you isn't final. It's temporary. It's flexible. It's a snapshot, not the whole story. But most people stare at their surroundings and let that define their effort. They say, I can't, because of this, or I would, if it weren't for that. That mindset keeps people broke, tired, confused, and average. Your power doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from how you respond, how you think, how you see. Circumstances may be real, but they are not the master. You are. The moment you believe that, everything changes. Winners don't wait for good conditions. They create them. They don't beg life for favors. They build life on purpose. They walk into the storm like they own it. While others are waiting for a break, they become the break. They don't see limitations. They see leverage. If you're struggling, if you're stuck, don't blame the situation. Check your perspective. Because the right mindset can turn every setback into a setup. The right focus can turn every obstacle into fuel. You were never meant to be ruled by what you see. You were built to rise regardless of what's around you. The danger is in believing that what's around you is more powerful than what's inside you. That is the lie. That's how the world keeps you small. It teaches you to adapt to the environment instead of transforming it. But the ones who make history are not those who adjust. They are those who challenge. They are those who refuse to shrink. They look at a mountain and walk like it's already moved. They hear impossible and start working harder. They know that every excuse has an expiration date, and every disadvantage is just a test to see how bad you really want it. Your job is not to report your circumstances. It's to reject their control. It's to rise above the noise, the pressure, the lack, the doubt. No money, make a plan. No support, get relentless. No experience, start anyway. You don't need permission to begin. You need belief. Circumstances are loud, but they're not loyal. They shift when your mindset shifts. They obey boldness. They respond to decision. When you move with authority, life has no choice but to move with you. But if you keep staring at the storm, waiting for it to stop, you'll never step into your power. Too many people treat their circumstances like a prison, when really they're a classroom. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. The pain, the pressure, the resistance, it's all part of the shaping. Diamonds aren't made in comfort. Warriors aren't built in silence. Strength is born when you decide that your story will not be defined by your starting point. Your background is not your ceiling. Your current location is not your destination. But you must stop using your environment as a reason to pause. The world rewards those who move regardless. When you declare war on your circumstances, your energy shifts. Your voice changes. Your eyes sharpen. You stop waiting and start creating. You stop doubting and start deciding. You stop asking for help and start becoming the help. You stop waiting to be rescued and realize no one is coming. That's the turning point. That's when the illusion breaks. Because circumstances only have power over those who bow to them. Once you stand up, once you refuse to fold, once you say enough, the illusion shatters and the real you shows up. Every great story started in bad conditions. Every legend had every reason to quit. But they saw something others didn't. They saw beyond the mess. They believed beyond the moment. They understood that the outside never decides the inside. That's why they won. Not because life made it easy, but because they were mentally unshakable. Their vision was stronger than their situation. Their commitment was louder than their complaints. They refused to let the facts of the moment cancel the future they had already claimed. Your current struggle might be hard, but it is not permanent. It might be loud, but it is not law. The truth is this: you can overcome anything, but only if you stop using your circumstances as a story and start using them as strategy. Flip the script. Change the narrative. Start talking like the battle is already won. Move like the outcome is already secured. That kind of confidence scares the world. That kind of certainty flips the tables. You are not a victim. You are not a product of chance. You are a force. And no circumstance can contain a force that refuses to be stopped. So the next time your mind says, "I can't because of this," answer with, "I will in spite of it." That's the voice of a winner. That's the mindset of someone who's done with excuses. That's the power of clarity, the strength of vision, and the fire of decision. Circumstances are illusions. Let others believe them. You've got work to do. Belief fuels sight. Without belief, your eyes are blind to opportunity. Without belief, the mind sees barriers instead of openings. You don't see with your eyes, you see through the lens of your belief system. If you believe in scarcity, you'll only see lack. If you believe in weakness, you'll only notice threats. But if you believe in purpose, you'll see mission. If you believe in growth, you'll see momentum. You get what you expect, not what you wish for. Belief makes the invisible visible. It's the ignition switch of vision. The moment you believe in something stronger than your fear, everything around you starts to shift. You can't create what you can't see, and you can't see what you don't believe. That's why people stay stuck. It's not their skill set, it's their mindset. They wait to see results before they believe, and in doing so, they never act. But belief comes first. Belief is the cause. Results are the effect. Your life expands or shrinks in direct proportion to your belief. If you believe you can change the world, your mind will find the way. If you believe you're stuck, every step will feel like a struggle. Belief becomes the filter through which you interpret reality. It decides your limits before life ever tests them. The greats didn't see the world as it was. They saw it as it could be. They looked past the facts and saw the future, not because they had guarantees, but because they had belief. Belief is what lets you walk through doors before they're open. It's what makes you act like you've already won when the scoreboard says otherwise. People with belief are dangerous because they refuse to wait for permission. They refuse to be slowed by doubt. They see something others don't, and that something gives them a fire that can't be explained. It can only be felt. That fire comes from belief. Your belief system is either your prison or your passport. It's either trapping you in a cycle of limitations or launching you into a world of possibilities. Every time you tell yourself you're not ready, not smart enough, not experienced, not worthy, that's belief at work. Just the wrong kind. Flip it. Build the belief that you are equipped, that you are chosen, that you are more than enough. Once belief changes, behavior follows. You start walking different, talking different, thinking different. Not because the world changed, but because you did. And when you change, your world follows. You don't need evidence to believe. You need belief to create evidence. That's where most people go wrong. They want the proof before the action. They want the applause before the performance. But belief works in reverse. You decide it's yours, then move like it is. That mindset attracts strategy, discipline, focus, and execution. Belief forces your brain to stop asking if and start solving how. The questions change. The energy changes. Because now you're not negotiating with your dream. You're building it. That shift doesn't come from books or luck. It comes from a relentless belief that refuses to accept failure as final. Belief has nothing to do with hype. It's not loud. It's not always visible. Real belief is internal fire. It's quiet intensity. It shows up in the work. It shows up in the early mornings, the late nights, the "I'll keep going even if no one's watching" mindset. Belief isn't about public display. It's about private commitment. It doesn't fade when things go wrong. It strengthens. It digs in. It becomes the force that carries you when motivation dies. Because motivation is temporary. Belief is fuel. Motivation says maybe. Belief says watch me. When belief is strong, excuses disappear. You stop blaming time, money, past, or people. You stop giving energy to distractions. You stop negotiating with laziness. You get up, you move, you train, you build. Because belief makes the decision for you. Belief doesn't wait until you're comfortable. It acts now. It says the dream matters more than the pain. The vision matters more than the opinion. The mission matters more than the moment. That's how belief works. It demands sacrifice and rewards with transformation. If you want to change your life, start with belief. You are not your current results. You are not your mistakes. You are what you believe you can become. That's the foundation of greatness. That's the seed of every breakthrough. If belief is weak, progress is impossible. But if belief is strong, nothing can stop you. That's not a motivational quote. That's reality. Look around. Every innovator, every athlete, every leader, they believed long before they were believed in. They held the vision when nobody else did. They saw the possibility when others laughed. They endured the process because their belief burned hotter than their doubts. No one can believe for you. No one can carry your dream. No one can install conviction into your heart. That's your job. You either build your belief or you'll live by someone else's doubt. You either feed your faith or you'll be buried by your fear. Belief isn't given, it's chosen. Every day you wake up, you choose what story to tell yourself. You choose what to focus on. You choose whether to shrink or rise. That's the real battlefield, not out there, but in your own mind. Win that battle, and nothing outside of you can break you. So whatever you're chasing, whatever you're building, whatever you're dreaming, start with belief. Speak it, write it, feel it, act on it. Let that belief fuel your sight. Let it guide your steps. Let it shape your vision. Because when belief takes over, the impossible becomes strategy. The future becomes now. The dream becomes reality. Focus reveals the path. In a world designed to distract you, focus becomes your power. When you learn to fix your mind, your direction sharpens. The noise fades. Confusion fades. You stop wandering through your days and start walking with clarity. Focus isn't about effort. It's about elimination. You don't need more energy, more time, more motivation. You need less distraction. You need fewer opinions. You need to stop chasing everything and start building one thing. Because the minute you focus, the path appears. The steps become visible. The actions become obvious. You're no longer guessing. You're moving. Most people can't find their path because they're too busy looking everywhere at once. They jump from idea to idea, from one goal to another without planting roots. They say they want clarity, but they never sit still long enough to get it. Focus forces you to choose. It makes you uncomfortable. It says no to the 99 things so you can build the one that matters. That's why it's rare. That's why so few people live with purpose. They're too scattered, too distracted by what everyone else is doing. But real progress only begins the moment you say, "This is my path, and I will not look away." Focus demands discipline. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't wait for perfect timing. It shows up when you do. If you want the edge, the advantage, the results, train your focus. Not your talent, not your passion, your focus. Because your ability to lock in and stay locked in is what separates dreamers from doers. The people who move fast in life are not the ones doing the most. They are the ones doing the right things with ruthless intensity. They're not interested in looking busy. They're interested in moving the needle. That's what focus gives you, leverage. Distraction is the enemy of greatness. It doesn't always come in the form of failure. Sometimes it shows up as a second-best opportunity, a good idea, a tempting shortcut. And if your focus is weak, you'll take it. You'll settle. You'll veer off course and convince yourself you're still moving forward. But you're not. You're circling. You're drifting. Because the moment your focus breaks, so does your momentum. And once you lose momentum, you invite hesitation. You let doubt creep in. You slow down. And if you slow down long enough, you stop. The only way to prevent that spiral is to protect your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. Clarity comes from focus. You don't figure things out by overthinking. You figure them out by moving in one direction with commitment. Focus forces decisions. It eliminates the guesswork. It tells your mind this is where we're going and nothing else matters. You begin to see what others miss. You start to notice patterns. You hear things in conversations that align with your goal. You feel guided, not because the path suddenly appeared, but because you finally stopped looking everywhere else. The path was always there. You were just too distracted to see it. The greatest breakthroughs don't come from scattered minds. They come from locked-in minds. Minds that are obsessed. Minds that would rather be excellent at one thing than average at everything. You can't change your life casually. You can't build something meaningful while half committed. Focus is the decision to burn the boats, cut the noise, and go all in. Most won't do it. Most will flirt with progress instead of marrying it. But those who commit, those who focus without apology, will find themselves far beyond the reach of the average. Because while everyone else was bouncing, they were building. Every minute you spend on something that doesn't align with your goal is momentum stolen. It's power drained. Focus is energy concentrated. It makes every action more effective. It turns hours into results. It makes you dangerous in the right direction. Without focus, you dilute your gift. With focus, you sharpen it. You become a force. People feel it when you speak. They see it when you move. They respect it because it's rare. Most people can't sit still for 5 minutes. But you can hold your vision for years if necessary. That's the difference between dabbling and dominating. You don't need a perfect plan. You need uninterrupted focus. Stop trying to perfect everything before you begin. Perfection is a trick your mind plays to keep you stagnant. Just lock in. Decide where you're going and refuse to let your mind wander. Eliminate what doesn't matter. Cut the unnecessary. Build habits that serve the mission. Every time you say yes to distraction, you say no to your destiny. But every time you return to focus, you reclaim your power. You step back on the path. You accelerate. And eventually, you separate yourself from everyone who couldn't hold the line. Focus doesn't mean you never slip. It means you return quicker every time you do. You don't wait for motivation. You don't need inspiration. You have a target, and you keep showing up. Day after day, thought after thought, action after action. And one day you look back and realize you've built something unshakable. Not because life made it easy, but because you stayed focused when everyone else gave up. You stayed locked in when the noise got loud, and you kept walking until the path revealed everything you once couldn't see. Vision must be protected. It's the most powerful asset you have, and the most fragile. When you carry a real vision, you're carrying the blueprint of your future. It's sacred, it's delicate, and if you don't defend it, the world will strip it from you, piece by piece. People who don't see what you see will talk you out of it. Environments that don't match your dream will try to mold you into something smaller. Doubt will creep in. Delay will tempt you. Distraction will whisper, maybe later. That's why vision must be protected with ruthless intensity. Not once, but every single day. Your vision won't protect itself. It won't grow on accident. It won't survive in chaos. It needs your focus, your fire, and your discipline. You've got to build a wall around it, not to keep people out, but to keep your direction clear. Not every voice deserves access. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every path leads where you're going. When you protect your vision, you stop entertaining what doesn't align with it. You stop compromising. You stop adjusting your dream to fit your surroundings. Instead, you start adjusting your actions to fit your dream. That's the difference between existing and building. The danger isn't that you'll wake up and your vision will vanish. The danger is it will fade slowly. You'll let one bad day silence it, one failure delay it, one setback reduce it, and before you know it, the fire that once burned bright becomes a faint memory. That's how most people lose their future, through small moments of neglect. They don't protect the vision, so it erodes. You must guard it like a warrior. Feed it like it's your only fuel. Speak it out loud even when no one listens, because the world will try to dim it. And if you're not deliberate, the world will win. Your vision is not a group project, it's personal. It's yours. Stop expecting everyone to understand it. Most people can't see past the moment they're in, but you're building something they can't see yet. You're walking a road they don't recognize, so they'll question it. They'll doubt it. They'll try to make you shrink it so they can feel more comfortable. That's when protection matters most. You don't explain your vision to small minds. You execute it. You show it through your consistency. You let your results speak louder than their opinions. That's how you defend what was placed inside you. There will be days where your vision feels far away. That's normal. But that's not the time to panic. It's the time to protect. That's when you double down on the habits, the disciplines, the routines that reinforce it. Your vision isn't built in excitement. It's built in consistency. It grows in silence. It develops in darkness, long before the world sees anything. But if you stop guarding it during the waiting season, you'll never step into the fulfillment season. Protect it, even when it's invisible, especially when it's invisible. Because if you can hold it in your mind long enough, you'll hold it in your hand. Protection means boundaries. It means saying no even when it's uncomfortable. It means separating from people who drain your belief. It means creating space to think, space to plan, space to grow. You can't protect your vision in clutter. You can't protect it while scrolling through noise or comparing your process to someone else's highlight reel. You protect it by staying focused on your lane. You protect it by being unavailable to nonsense. Every yes to distraction is a no to your future. Every time you let someone else steer your attention, you give them access to what you're building. And not everyone deserves that access. When you protect your vision, you don't just keep moving, you move with power. You stop chasing everything and start building something. You stop explaining and start executing. The dream becomes clearer. The actions become sharper. And soon the world has no choice but to adjust to what you've built. That only happens when you're unapologetic about protecting your direction. People may not get it now, but they'll respect it later. Because vision without protection is a wish. Vision with protection becomes destiny. Too many people confuse interest with commitment. They like the idea of a vision, but they don't protect it. So they chase it when it's easy and drop it when it's hard. But if your vision is real, it deserves more than casual effort. It deserves your full allegiance. You don't visit it when you feel inspired. You live in it. You breathe it. You act like it's done even when nothing's visible. That kind of protection rewires your identity. You become the person your vision requires. You start doing things others won't, so you can experience things others don't. You weren't given your vision by accident. It's a calling. It's a responsibility. And it's under attack every single day, from your environment, from your old habits, from your fears. That's why protecting it is not optional. It's essential. There's a cost to defending your dream, but there's a greater cost in neglecting it. Protecting it may make you lonely. It may make you misunderstood, but it will also make you unshakable. Because when the vision is protected, nothing can take it from you. Not failure, not delay, not critics, not even time. The vision remains, and eventually, so will your victory. Protect your vision like your future depends on it, because it does. There will be pressure to conform, to compromise, to dim your light so others feel comfortable. Resist it. Stay rooted. Your vision is the seed of everything you're meant to build, and if you don't guard it, life will bury it under distractions, opinions, and fear. Let them misunderstand you. Let them doubt you. Let them walk away if they must. But never walk away from what was planted inside you. Because one day, the same world that questioned your silence will witness your success. And they'll realize what you knew all along. You never needed their permission to build what only you could see.